for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks for coming, everybody. Can you believe we're going to get how many inches of snow, maybe? 2 to 4? Perhaps. Spring to winter. We call this sprinter, right? Spring, winter, sprinter. Okay, roll call, please.
Mark Bouchard.
Here.
Maureen Bory.
Absent excuse.
Artie Bryson.
Here.
Chris O'Regan.
Here.
Cindy Valentine here. Joanne Shirkey. Here. Christy Hiltman.
Okay, we have a quorum. Bills payable. I will entertain a motion.
I will make a motion to approve bills payable in the amount of $43,757.87.
Okay, a motion and support. Any discussion?
I just had two quick ones that came out of the sewer fund. It was for that Butterfield repair.
That was reimbursed.
That's all I wanted to know. I thought you said that.
Yep.
Thank you. No more questions.
Okay, we had emergency fix.
Yes.
Yep. Okay, any other questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Artie Bryson.
Yes.
Chris O'Regan.
Yes.
Cindy Valentine, yes. Joanne Shirkey. Yes. Christy Hiltman. Yes. Mark Bouchard.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Supervisor's report, and I just discovered, I gotta apologize.
You do.
I email this every week to Cindy. I emailed her the one from last year.
And you know, I didn't even look at it.
And I
just
pulled
attached
it up, and I'm reading, we've had one COVID death. I'm like, whoa, and then I look at the water, and it goes, it's not that high.
Yeah.
Sandbags.
I didn't
So I
even
apologize.
look at it.
We're talking about
I try
buying
and-
sandbags
Yeah.
and,
I try and save it for the meeting anymore, just so that I'm surprised when you talk about it.
huh? Yeah, time flies. Seems longer than a year ago, doesn't it? But, all right, let me get to my high water report.
Yeah.
Glasses are fogging up here. Our water levels are looking good. They're holding good. We're about 12, 14 inches below where we were this time last year. And good thing I'm noticing is when we do get rain now, our ground's dry enough so it's absorbing it. It's just not, when we had the real high water and we were saturated, we get an inch of rain and, the river would go up 2.5 inches and stay. Today I looked at it, it was at 576.4, and last year this time is at 577.8. So we're a 1.5 feet below. Awesome. The COVID update, we're a lot more and more vaccines are being administered every day. And we are at a big uptick in the county and the state. Actually, our water department was covering for Algonac's DPW because they were all quarantined. I think they are back today, though. I saw one of them working. And in the township, we had 2 people out with COVID. Our police department, and one in, we have a EMT out with it. I'm not sure if they have it or they're being quarantined. I've been doing a lot of work and meetings actually with federal government and county for just a grant for our sewer interceptor repairs. We got an initial estimation this project will be at least $3.5 million, and that's for phase 1. It has to be fixed, so it's definitely not chump change. There are federal earmarks now available for shovel-ready projects, and this qualified for it. We did all the paperwork and submitted it last week, and I think we stand a better chance to have it half paid by the federal government, and also working with have the county pay for a big chunk of this too, which would be great. In fact, we hosted a meeting here in this hall last week. I was talking about 26 Mile Road corridor and the potential that it has as far as growth, and part of it was our sewer interceptor that came out. But we had people here, a bunch of representatives from St. Clair County, Cotterville, Casco, China Townships, Algonac, and Marine City were here with various planners and engineers and water and sewer plant heads and engineers. So it was a very good meeting, actually. Working on budget and how we should track this ARP money that we hear that's coming. I want to remind everybody, everyone's saying, oh, we're getting all this money. Well, I think it was $878,000. That's an estimate and is changing daily. So it's nothing that we should feel good that we should spend very much of it until we have it in hand. Just want to mention that. And once we do get it and know exactly how we can spend it, I think we should have a workshop together and kind of prioritize how it should be spent. I think it should be spent in, if it can reduce our costs going forward, and reduce our overhead, and that's my own personal feeling, no. Instead of buying something real shiny and new just to look at, like a helicopter for us to ride around in or something. I know, no more helicopters. So, all right, we did receive our grant. It's on the agenda for our bike path, and I submitted paperwork for round 2 for a grant on the bike path. It'll be matching grant, $14,000, and that's going to be put together for bike kiosks on the path and signage. So I'm not sure when we'll know about that. Been dealing with a lot of building and blight issues. Waiting to hear from our legal for our short-term rentals. I know I saw an email, she is working on it right now. Our planning commission crafted a medical cannabis zoning ordinance and it's sent to the county for review. We haven't received it back yet. So once we do, we'll be able to act on that.
So can I interrupt you real
Yep.
quickly? So this isn't to open up the floodgates for us, right? It's
No,
to- it's to kind of channel it,
It's to tighten it, and restrict it. Right now,
under these regulation.
yeah, right now under state law, you can grow medical marijuana. And problem is, we don't have any ordinances or control of how it's done, where it's done. I could be growing it in my house and you live next to me and you're getting odors from it.
Nuisance.
Nuisance, I have traffic, people coming and going. That's what this deals with.
Okay.
So if there is an odor, we can take care of it. If there is, it limits the traffic, it limits a lot of things. It's pretty restrictive,
Okay.
as much as we can. Am I right, Mark?
Yeah, you're correct. We tightened it up quite a bit as far as the medical marijuana is concerned.
Yeah.
They're limited on.
We're not saying no, we're just saying this is the rules that the township is governing by.
Yeah,
Right.
I think we got it put together pretty well, but we'll see what the county says when we get it back.
Yeah, and the process, the zoning board, or not the zoning, the planning commission drafts it. Then from there, it goes up to the county planning,
Yeah,
and they bless it, and then it comes down to us, for us to question here.
yep,
All right,
thank you.
let's see. We did approve our final draft of the master plan, as you all know, and we should be getting our final draft on that soon for publication. And we are going to be updating our water ordinance soon. It needs to be tightened up some. I attended the Harsens Island St. Clair Flats Association meeting this past week, along with Joanne Shirkey and Chief Rose. And also, I attended the Algonac Clay Historical Society meeting. And they were very grateful of our donation to them. We have our Clay Township Cleanup Weekend. It's going to be June 5th on the mainland, first Saturday of June. And on Harsens Island, it's June 5th and 6th because it's a lot busier over there. And it'll be at Brownsfield. Also looking at a second cleanup in the fall. I'm just playing with the numbers right now in the garbage budget. I think it costs us about $5,000 to have that, but it's well received, well liked.
Is that with labor and the cans?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it makes sense to have that in the fall.
And the tipping fees?
Right, yeah, the whole thing.
Enchilada.
And actually, we have it kind of penciled in for the first week in October. It works on Brownsfield for that. And, but I'll get a little more granular on that once we get into the budget more. DDA, for everyone's knowledge, the DDA approved putting Wi-Fi in our park next door. And I signed a work order to get that going. And they also approved the Pearl Beach Pier sign.
Oh, good.
We tweaked it a little bit, made it a little higher and bigger posts. But you know, it's gonna be, we've all seen the artwork on it. It's gonna be slick, I think. Getting estimates for our bathrooms and other improvements at the Pearl Beach Fishing Pier for the DDA to consider. It's gonna include a fence on the west
West
side and a public bathroom. That will be on the lot that where the old party store was. It's basically going to be on the east side. St. Johns Marsh Cleanup is scheduled for May 8th. We're getting together around 8 a.m. at the DNR launch access site where the walking trail is, and doing a lot of work with music in the park. We have 10 concerts this year between Algonac and Clay. Then we have 4 concerts on Harsens Island. I think we might have room for one more sponsor, if anyone's interested. I just had an email, May 6th is our National Day of Prayer at 7 o'clock at Smith's Park over in Algonac, and we could all use a little bit of praying. So that's all I have. Okay. Moving right along, do we have public comments? Any public comments for anything? Any public comments? Seeing none. Consent agenda, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda consisting of the board meeting minutes of April 5th, 2021, and check reports.
Okay, motion support, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the consent agenda as presented, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we can move right along to new business. First thing, fire truck or for our fire department is the IPA resolution for purchase for the fire trucks. Resolution authorizing installment purchase agreement for Clay Township, IPA. I think of beer, I can't help it. Every time I see IPA, okay.
You don't wanna have a beer when you're signing that contract.
Yeah, no, no, not at all. And we did, Chrissy and Cindy and I met and with George, and we figured out how much money we can get out of our fund balance to reduce our debt going forward. And we came up, we'll be able to put $400,000 down comfortably.
Okay,
And this isn't strapping George too much either for, for operations going forward. It only makes sense to do that, because right now, what are we making, Chrissy, on our interest? 0.002?
0.05.
Oh, 0.05, okay. We're making a half of 1%. That's not 5%, it's half of 1%.
It's not 5%.
No, that's what I said, it's not 5%, it's half of 1%. And so it makes sense for us, to do this. And I was talking to Bill Roche about it. I know he's got it, he conservatively estimates that it's gonna, when we sell this, it'll hit the market around 3%, or he has the numbers figured out 3%. But he says it's hard to tell. Should go between 2.25 and 2 3/4, so it would be less than what he said. You are,
I'm Steve DeClaudio, I'm the analyst.
okay, yeah, you're with Bill Roche, so.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, if we have any questions on anything, there's our guy right there, Steve.
so that's our
Bond
number,
Yeah,
will be between 2 and 3%,
yeah,
and that's what we're gonna finance, the balance,
right,
the 843,000.
yes. And at 3%, our payment would be a little over 70,000 a year. But if it's, comes to 2.5%, I don't know those numbers, probably be around, I don't know,
Yep.
6, less than that. So that's doable for our firemen, our fire budget.
Okay,
Any penalty for early payoff? Not that that's gonna happen, but,
No, but we can, after 9 years, we can pay it off early.
oh, okay.
after 9 years?
Yes. Isn't that right, Steve?
Yes, that's correct. Essentially, it depends kind of on the call feature because we're gonna have to go out to bids with, through multiple banks. We could get, pretty much like a variety of call features. It really depends on what the interest level is from all the other banks.
Okay,
So, and they're ready to start rolling with this tomorrow, or after if we do approve it to,
Yeah, you made a good point. Are we gonna be locked into that percentage?
yeah, it's not a floating,
eventually.
yeah.
Not an arm, huh?
And say if for some reason we don't get anything good, any good bids or anything, we're not locked in, we can reject the deal. Am I right, Steve?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Any questions, or anyone would like to make a motion?
What's our payoff? Not the payoff, but after the 400,000, what was the final line?
843, 658, and 52 cents.
Yep.
We're basically coming up with, what did you say, about 400 grand?
Yep.
And we're financing the balance.
So we're paying for a third of it. So what's the board's pleasure?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the fire department IPA resolution for fire trucks, resolution authorizing installment purchase agreement for Clay Township.
Yeah, motion and support. Any more discussion?
This is all coming out of the fire?
Fire budget.
Balance?
Yep.
What about the 400?
We're taking 100 off of this year, 100, or it'd be actually, we figured it out.
150,000 out of fund balance,
Yes.
100,000 from this year's budget, 100,000 for from ARP funds when those are received, and 100,000 from, no, 50,000 from general.
Yep, general.
Yeah, that sounds good. Is there a way we can get a spreadsheet on that, just for our own purposes, please? Thank you.
For the record, I would just like to say I wish we had had a workshop over alternative ways we could have financed this. I'm not necessarily sure that this was the best way, but that's the board's pleasure.
Well, there was some discussion. We have a pretty good healthy fund balance in our water department. We could have borrowed from the water department, paid them, but in all honesty, we're gonna have a lot of things happen in the water department where I would, I could see the water lending money to our sewer fund for this interceptor, or we have a big water project that could take off here in a year or two also. But that's my own personal feelings.
Do you know what our annual payments are gonna be on the 800,000 remaining?
Well, at
It's
3%,
about 70, right?
yes, at 3% it would be 70,000. So if it's 2.5, I don't know, I don't have the, could be, I don't know, 65,
Yeah, essentially.
around in there.
So what happens literally with the bells and whistles? The lights, the rigging, the equipment that has to go with it, the graphics package.
George?
Well, we do have some equipment on the older trucks. I am proposing, for this year's budget to purchase some new equipment for the trucks too.
Hoses and
So when you say this year's budget, chief, you mean 2021, 2022?
21, 22, yes.
Okay. But we're taking possession of the trucks in May though, right?
I'm sorry?
We're planning on taking possession of the rigs in May?
Yeah.
And then how long is it gonna take to fit them, you think?
Well, we have to train on them. Everybody has to get trained on it. We're looking probably about the 1st of June, putting them in service.
That's not long.
And how long,
I believe the trucks, I was told the trucks were completed as of today. They're done. So they're ahead, 6 days, 7 days from what they predicted
okay,
of having them done. Once I receive some pictures of them, I'll go around and look at these pictures of the trucks for about a week, and then I'll schedule an appointment with the sales rep, and we will do a Zoom meeting on it, and then we'll do a video of both trucks, go around both trucks to make sure all the equipment or everything's put on the truck that we ordered, and that there's any deficiencies in the paint or anything.
so once we have them, they're fitted, we're trained, we're gonna have a couple extra fire trucks to off, correct?
Yes. We have the Pierce, it's a 95 Pierce that we're gonna put up for sale, and then we have a tanker, a 2,000-gallon tanker that we're gonna sell.
And do we know in our mind where that stuff is going, when it's gonna hit the auction site, or if it goes to a public forum, or?
I've talked to a company in North Carolina that wants to purchase the tanker.
Yep,
I sent them some pictures of it. I've not gotten anything back on them as far as a price. The engine, there's some sites that we can put that on, and it'll go like through the state of Michigan and through the United States, that we can sell the truck that way.
perfect.
For some reason, there's a good market, in Kentucky and Tennessee, if I remember
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Seems like a lot of municipalities selling trucks around here, they're going down to the,
Seems like we should be able to use, maybe find a way to use some of those funds for
That's
the
what-
rigging of it, right?
that's what,
Even
that's
if
the
the
plan.
fire department has to make a loan to itself or something
Yep.
to purchase some of this stuff, then we can funnel it back to
That's the exact plan.
shore up those, okay.
Yeah, I got one question for you. The upgrades that we have ordered for the fire truck, there have been installed, and is that going to be a part of the overall cost, final bill?
You mean the ones that we approved?
Yeah, right,
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Yeah, we had to amend our purchase agreement
Right.
a while ago.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Roll call vote.
Chris O'Regan.
Yes.
Cindy Valentine, no. Joanne Shirkey.
Yes.
Christy Hilton.
No.
Mark Bouchard.
Yes.
Artie Bryson.
Yes. Okay, motion passes. Next, accept Community Fund Foundation grant, $18,848 for bike path maintenance. Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the Community Foundation grant for $18,848 for bike path maintenance.
Support.
Okay, we have motion and support. We're still waiting on getting the ceiling done, to seal the majority of
What's
the
there?
path, and the cap that we have quotes that we, our work orders we have initiated. Waiting for the weather. I don't know, when does the asphalt plants open? May 1st? Usually. So, that's
When do they open?
May 1st,
May.
or round in there. Depends on weather, but we're getting a couple inches of snow tomorrow night, so that puts it off a little bit.
Yeah, this Community Foundation grant for 18,000. Where does that money come from?
Community Foundation of St. Clair County. Actually, this was a grant from the Wilson Foundation,
Okay,
and I applied for it, and it was a matching grant. And it was actually for a $45,000 project, but I think we came in around 30 or 38, 39,000
Yep.
for it, so. But any funds like this, we have to accept it, and that's what we want to do. So entertain a motion.
You have motion and support.
Oh, do we have motion support? Okay, it's over 10 grand. Roll call, please.
Cindy Valentine, yes. Joanne Shirkey.
Yes.
Christy Hilton. Mark Bouchard.
yes.
Artie Bryson.
Yes.
Chris O'Regan.
Okay, motion passed. Next, we have for our water department, our John Deere grass cutting rig needs some repair. It's, we use this to cut the side of the road. $5,255.24. And this is gonna come out of our road maintenance fund, which we have enough in our balance on that line item to cover this. How old is this tractor, John?
Early 80s.
Early 80s? We got our money's worth out of it, huh? It still runs good.
Still in great condition.
What's the cost for a new one?
Oh, probably about 80,000.
Board, I'll make a motion that we approve the DPW John Deere roadside grass mower repair in the amount of $5,255.24, coming from line item 101-446-971.
Support.
Motion and support, any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have Kathy, oh boy, Savoda? Anyhow, she's, come on up to the podium. She,
It's Svoboda.
Savoda.
It's actually Svoboda Shemansky.
Oh, okay, now you're really
Just
confusing
to make it
us.
easier. And it's
So-
really spelled with a C, just since we're
So,
on the name.
her and I are gonna become good friends, I got that feeling. Sends me an email, what about a little free pantry, food pantry? And she said, I'm willing, she's new to the community, she wants to help out, I wanna do this, and, I don't know, I think it was your idea, if we were kicking around a couple different locations, and, I think I mentioned it to you guys at our last meeting, and, here she is, and she wants our support, and I think what we wanna do, I don't wanna steal your thunder, but put it up on.
Yeah, wait, no, that's my
Yeah,
part.
Okay, go for it, Kathy.
Good for you.
Go
I'm
for
here
it.
with a fantastic idea for you guys, such an opportunity. So, like I already was saying, I want to do a, oh, this makes me feel like I'm nasally.
I know.
So, can I go like
Yeah.
this? I'm vaccinated. No, that makes it worse. Okay, anyway, so I don't know if you've seen the little free pantries, but I know you have 2 little free libraries in the park.
Yep.
And so the Little Free Pantry was a spin-off from the Little Free Libraries. There's about 2,000 throughout the United States right now. And so they're similar to the Little Free Pantry and Little Free Libraries in that it's community supported, but it's different in that, like the libraries, people come and take a book and give a book. This, I'm gonna have to be more clever in how we market it and get not funding, but support. So anyway, so I'm gonna start, I don't know if you guys all got the little pre-read, but I'm gonna just run through it with you guys, okay? So we already went through I'm calling it, I took a couple liberties, so I sent Artie I think I sent it to all you guys, but Artie and I talked about it, and he said, yeah, sounds like a good idea. So I kind of took that as a kind of yes. So I called my dad, who's 90, and he used to be a carpenter. I said, Dad, because he was just saying to me that he didn't know what he was going to do with his, the stimulus check. He said, we got this money, and like, we don't deserve it. So I said, hey, you want to build this for me? Because he used to be a carpenter. So he built it for me, and I went out there and painted it, and then I was talking with my sister. We were working on it, and we decided to call it the Clay Township Free Pantry in the Park, because it just flowed very nicely. So it's going to be what we want to, the pantries, the little pantries, they're filled with non-perishables, hygiene products, paper products, and the idea is that people from the community will fill it, and people from the community will use it. For those that are that are hungry, might not be able to make it to the next paycheck or something. So currently, like I do, I work with the mobile food pantries in New Baltimore, in Ray Township. I go out to Port Huron and do it with them too. And in New Baltimore, we serve about 150 people every other week, families every other week. In Ray Township, we do about 50 families. And in Port Huron, it's a lot of like hundreds. So there is a need. I don't know, like the stats for anything around this area, but I know that there is a need. And with COVID, the need's gotten greater. So, let me put my glasses on. So, that's the why we should do this, because there is just really a need, and I think it'd be a cool thing for the community to get involved in. So, who is it for? Well, it's for everybody. It's not only for people that need food, it's for people that want to get involved and people that want to give, because it'll help grow the community and grow, people feeling like part of something. So that's who the PIP is for. I'm calling it the PIP. So then we go on to where is it going to be located. So in the park made a lot of sense. I come to the park every day. You might have seen me walking I think I walk my dog. Some people say my dog walks me. He's a big German Shepherd. I'm here at least once a day walking him. So I'm here a lot, and it just seems like a lot of people in the community use the park, and so this seems like a good place for it. So when we first started talking about it, we talked about maybe having it up here by the office so it could be watched. But that's the thing. I don't really want it to be watched. I don't want people to feel like they're being watched. because it could be something that they're not comfortable with. So putting it like where the libraries are, that the flow of traffic and everything, it doesn't make sense there. But that on Lake Shore,
Lake Point.
Lake Point, on Lake Point over there, that parking lot, it's easily accessible, people can walk to it, people can drive up there and get stuff and leave right away. So that's where we think it should go. So then, when can we do it? So I already told you that I have it built, I have it painted, I have it ready to go. I have about $350 worth of groceries in the back seat of my car. And Artie said that the building department can help me, I think you said the building
Water
department.
Department.
Water department can help me install it. My dad suggested that, because I don't have the base for it, it's like 30 by 32.
Put a couple 4x4s in.
Or my dad said like maybe what you use for the street signs, we could bolt that on all four corners but we could look at it and figure it out. And it's in my garage. I don't know if you guys want to come to my garage and get it, because it's kind of heavy. So then you could see it, and you could put it up the best way you want to do it. It should be like in the shade maybe, and I don't know my directions at all, but like, they suggest north facing for the sun, so I don't know which way is north or anything, but you could figure it out. Yeah. Okay, so that goes to the when, and so here's the next thing, here's the hard part, is how is this gonna happen? So, I'm retired, so I am, I'm on a fixed income. So, and I really I need this to be successful, because, I don't know, since I retired, I'm sorry, I will go into too much little detail, but anyway.
I love it.
I've just been going, what do I do to add value to the world? Like, really, what do I do? And then I realized, after I got the okay from Artie, I realized, this is really fun for me to be figuring this out and planning this and stuff. So I really want it to be successful, but I can't do it all on my own. So I've got some ideas here. I've got some little handouts here too, so let me show you guys these, okay? So these are handouts that I'm thinking that we can do.
We're gonna shame people in music in the park to stock it.
I think music in the park and this is something that we can give out at Music in the Park, although it's not complete yet because I want to change the picture, and I thought you guys might want to look at it and give me some feedback on it if you want.
Well, it looks like your dad did a beautiful job.
Oh, it's so
Yes.
cute.
And I commend him, because with the price of wood these days, it probably cost him his whole stimulus check.
Actually, the whole thing is made out of one piece of plywood,
Wow.
but it's super, he was a master, he did the inside trim and houses and stuff. He was really, and he's 90 now. He's an awesome guy.
Great. Does he live with you?
No, he's in Huntley, Illinois, so I had to trek out to Huntley.
Wow.
So anyway, so here's a couple ideas on how this is gonna be, the initial filling of it and everything will be by me. But the other part I don't quite know is how I'm gonna get the word out there. I'm gonna use Nextdoor app. I created a Facebook page that I'm working on right now. So, but I'm gonna wait for the picture from when we get it put in. So I've got that Facebook page created, so I'm gonna put that out there. And then this flyer, this one, I thought maybe if there's, sometimes on my way to Kroger, but I don't wanna make people feel like I'm judging anybody, but there's a mobile home park. I don't know if that's a good place. I don't know where this could go to let people know that we're there, but that's going to be an important piece of it, is to letting people know that we've got this stuff. So I don't know the community well enough to be able to know what to do.
I will
So that's-
introduce you to churches that, we do food giveaways about once a month. And about 115 people average going to that. The Algonac Food Pantry would be a good spot to get it out. We can take care of that.
Okay, great.
Okay?
Great, yep.
I'm
Then
sure
that
we can
takes
get
care of a big
Cindy to
problem
push
that I
this
have.
out as
Yep,
well.
yeah, we'll get the word out on both sides for supply and demand.
Yeah, and
And,
like, I'm gonna put out that we'll take gift cards, I'll take cash donations. If somebody wants to sign up for a day a month that they're gonna commit to filling it, then that's great. And I think we can get it going, and I think it could be really successful.
what we could do, what do you think, you know, how we collect, if someone wants to pay more on their water bill for the Goodfellows, could we also do account for this?
We just would need to know.
Which one?
To tell us
Right,
what we're donating to.
right.
Yeah, and we can put a bin out there if you want to come by and check it and collect it, or we
Yeah.
can call you,
that'd be
you know, if they
See,
want to
we
drop off.
we have a
meals.
program for Goodfellows, if someone's paying any bill, if they want to round it up or throw another $10 on it or something, it goes right to the Goodfellows, and we could do the same for this.
That'd be fantastic.
Okay.
The other thing that I'm gonna ask you guys for help with is, like, the things I just printed, I did 10 of these and 10 of these,
Don't print
and
more.
it cost me $17
We
at
can do your
Staples.
printing for you.
So if you could help me, I mean, I'll even buy the paper, but it cost me $17 to get
Yep.
these, and so we won't have any flyers if it's, because I'd rather put it towards food.
I think
So-
once this takes off, word of mouth will kick in.
Yep, I do too.
And
I-
I
that's
think
what
the
I'm
bigger
hoping.
problem is having a schedule to keep it stocked.
Yep,
Well, like I said, I go to the park every day, and
Yeah,
she'll do the
I'm not
foot-
thinking
perfect,
that,
the footwork.
that I'm gonna be, there's gonna be times that the shelves are gonna be bare,
Yep.
and that's okay.
There'll be times that they're overstocked too.
Yeah,
right?
but I'm asking people not to, I don't want people putting it around it, it's got, because there's neighbors across the street, oh, that's another thing. We should probably tell the neighbors across the street so they'll know that it's
Yep.
there and there's gonna be more traffic, that they're not expected to police it or anything, but just to make them aware that it's gonna be there.
I know 3 of the 5.
And, so I just, I lost my train of thought. I really lost my train of thought, but
Okay,
I'm
We
really
think this is
upset.
I think this is a wonderful idea.
yep. We're going to, or I see a newspaper article here too, and if they don't reach out to us from this meeting, we're gonna reach out to them,
Awesome.
okay?
And, I'm thinking that if this works out really well here, like, maybe we can put one on Harsens Island, because there might be seniors that can't get out to, can't make it over to the grocery store it's not people that are, like,
I got the spot over in Brownsfield, we could do it.
awesome. Okay, I'm so excited.
Nice, Kathy, now, a little bit about you, you told me you just moved to the area?
Well, I've been here for 3 years.
Okay, well, welcome and thank you.
Thank you.
Seriously, out of the bottom of my heart, all of us.
Yeah.
And,
Good idea.
didn't I tell you she's gonna be a good friend?
Yep.
Well, and so here's another, this got me so enthused about stuff. So if you have some stuff that I can get involved in, seriously, I am a retired person that's really
We're gonna take advantage
looking
of
for
it.
things to do,
Be
okay?
careful what you wish for.
We're gonna,
No, I've been upset, like, this is a very small thing, and I've been obsessed with it, so I need a life, maybe. Anyway, so.
okay,
You're good on we're gonna work on the,
Yep.
music in the park will be one of our venues?
give your contact info to John DeBoyer,
Okay,
phone number, address,
okay,
and, we'll work it out, we'll get it up in a week, or
Yep.
or weather permitting,
yeah,
and,
when the ground thaws.
yeah, we'll make it very secure, as stable, and then we'll start getting the word out.
Awesome. I'm so excited,
I
thank
don't, do
you.
we need a vote on this, or?
Let's make it
think so.
official.
Let's make it official. Who wants to make a motion?
I'll make a motion, board, that we support and encourage the free pantry in the park, which is going to be located on the north side of the park off of Lake Point Boulevard.
Support.
We have motion and support. Any more discussion needed? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries, and thank you so much. Okay, next on our agenda, you don't know how happy I am to see something from DTE. Thank you, Cindy. Oh,
It was no easy feat.
oh my God.
Thank
We-
you for a while, because you ran interference for a little while as
Yeah,
well,
we-
because I
we-
couldn't take it anymore.
We hand this project off back and forth. We had it going, then COVID, I mean, unbelievable.
It's been a nightmare, but this gentleman we are working with now is very attentive, he's very
Yes.
on top of it. So they gave us a quote for the light at Island Drive and M29, and it was a couple $100. When they gave us a quote, which is why it's on here, for Holland and Morrow, it's $1,000. So I didn't want to be presumptuous, it was a little bit more money, so we thought we would put it on the board agenda.
It needs a longer arm,
Yes,
is for a lot of the cost. And is this LED already?
it is an LED, and this is the lowest wattage LED they have, so it's not like it's gonna be a super, super bright light. It's just gonna put some light on that corner, so you know there's a road there.
It is a dark corner.
The overall cost was $1,500. They expect the annual operating cost to be $170. They give a 3-year revenue credit of $512, so the contribution from us to have it installed is $991.56. Next on the agenda is overall grouping for the whole township, and I am not sure if this is included in that price. If it is, then that price will be less, before somebody asks that question.
So we need a motion for the 991.56.
So this 991.56 is the, that's just for one light?
Yes.
One pole? Okay. And how many poles do we have?
Oh, boy, I can't.
I mean, if we converted them all.
Oh,
Well,
that's
that's
the
what we're
next
gonna
step.
talk about next.
That's
Okay,
next.
okay.
But this is, the reason why this one costs a little bit more is it's got an 18-foot arm, which is twice the span that they normally would put out.
Yeah.
And it all has to do with how the lights are positioned right now.
The big ditch is there, and the intersection sits back off of the road a little bit.
Right.
It's one of those spots you gotta kinda creep up.
It's dark.
Board, I'll make a motion that we support the DTE proposal for a overhead LED light at Holland and Morrow in the amount of $991.56. That's $991.56.
We have motion and support.
You were gonna do the whole thing at once, weren't you?
The whole township.
Yeah.
Even the whole township's not that much.
Any more discussion on it? Hearing none. All in favor of installing a new traffic light at Holland and Morrow Road, signify by saying aye.
Overhead light.
Yeah,
Aye.
overhead light.
Yep, signify by
Not,
saying
not traffic light.
No traffic light.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next we have estimate on converting all the traffic lights in the township to LED. And I know it's an estimate, but we looked at this for like Cindy and I for 3-4 years. And the payback of doing this is about 2.5, 3-year payback.
2.3.
2.3. Go ahead, Cindy.
So this estimate is, they call it a high-level estimate, high-level budget. This is what he could tell me from the office, an estimate. If it's in our wheelhouse, if it's something we're interested in doing, then what they will do is send out a crew to do an actual audit, to check to see if any of these lights he missed that need maybe an additional arm, or to see if there's any canopy lights, which run from pole to pole, and they're kind of on a wire. Depending on how many of those we have, it may be adjusted a little bit. But there was no sense in him sending out a crew to do all that fine detail estimate if it's not something the board is interested in pursuing as far as converting them over. As it is right now, they are slowly converting them when they come out. If they can't be fixed, they will convert them at that time. So it's just a matter of whether we want to take care of it or we want to wait and let them do it light by light as they can't be repaired. So if we do approve this, it would be for next year's budget after July. Between now and then, they would come out and give an actual fine detailed estimate, so we would know the exact cost, and then we would have it scheduled for after July.
So we're at the high end, we're looking at about $28,000. It's funny, we had some gal that was doing the audit, and, because I know we were looking at, it was getting granular, we were talking about specific lights on Colony Drive and things like that, and I thought she was just about done, but her email doesn't work anymore with, ever since COVID, and I don't think she works at DTE anymore. So, gotta start over.
So, and considering I don't think it's just an overhead cost, we do see the payback in 2.3 years, which I think is very fair and reasonable. Our lighting budget for the township for municipal lights right now runs us about $3,000 a month. And it goes up every month.
Right.
So,
That's a direct cost to us right now?
Yes.
yes.
Yeah, we have a line item for street lighting,
And we get invoiced
month,
from DTE?
monthly.
Monthly.
Okay, so either way, it's safe to say we're gonna pay for this.
Well, it's
One
gonna
way or the
save,
other.
it's gonna save us money.
Well, I understand that, but
Yeah, we're
as
paying-
the
we're
lights
paying for it
continue to
either
go
way.
out, we pay the maintenance to get that done.
Right.
Well, I see it as a no-brainer. Let's do it.
Is that a motion?
Board, I'll make a motion to support the DTE proposal and let them provide us a more significant and detailed estimate to switch over our current lighting, streetlights to an LED system.
Okay, we have motion and support. Any more discussion?
I'd just like to make a comment that I remember that 3 or 4 years, 5 years ago, that you started trying to get a light fixed around here.
Yes, it was hard.
Then
I
you
have-
couldn't. You couldn't get it.
I have emails going back to 16, and when I forwarded them to this gentleman that we were working with last week, he could not believe that it has taken us this long.
Remember, I got the contract signed 2 years ago for Island and M29.
Yeah, it would have been $50 cheaper then.
Yeah. I already got the contract signed. Sent it to Cindy. So, yes, thank God, good work. I'm excited. Any more discussion? Roll call vote.
Joanne Shirkey.
Yes.
Christy Hilton.
Yes.
Mark Burchard.
Yes.
Artie Bryson.
Yes.
Chris Regan.
Yes.
Cindy Valentine, yes.
Okay, motion passes. Next agenda, we have, as you well aware, we received a DNR trust fund grant to purchase property on Harsens Island for a nature park and a kayak launch, handicap kayak launch. We do have the property, we've received our grant monies, and next is to start developing it. And, we came up with a concept drawing, a rough concept drawing, which is in your package, but before we can get real granular on anything, we have to do a wetland study. That will determine where the dock starts and the path ends, and just about everything else we can do on the property. And we have an estimate that has to be $13,000. And then from our engineers, $7,750 estimate for starting the initial stages of the designing of the park, and putting some of those things out for bid, and taking it from there. So I'm looking for approval of, right now, $20,750 for engineering for the Harsens Island Nature Park. And John Monty's here if someone has any questions. Did I sum that up pretty good, John?
Very good.
And what is this, just for engineering studies? 20,000?
Wetlands.
Wetlands is 13, the wetland delineation or wetland study. It's a separate quote from ASTI Environmental. And then once we get that, we can do a topography and,
So PCE is going to be doing the boundary survey, the topographic survey, modify the site plan, design site access, and update estimate is $7,500.
yes.
Sounds reasonable.
And I did have $100,000 budgeted in this year's budget for this. I'd like to, still this year, if it's possible, get a culvert in and a driveway in and the parking lot, or part of the parking lot going. And get this thing rolling, so. Then once I get this information, I can get busy and look for some different grant monies available. I'd probably talk to the Community Foundation, the Wilson Foundation, and or the St. Clair County Community Foundation. And there's DNR Trust Fund grants available for development of these kind of things now. And, the passport grant too, so.
When will they start this and be completed?
Well, we don't know yet. We gotta do the engineering.
Well, what are we shooting for? We have to
Well,
have a
I'd
timeline.
like to have this thing, I'd love,
Mark's talking about the initial proposal. not
right.
necessarily-
Oh, from project control? I don't know, how long do you think, John?
Probably within a month, we'd have the wetland consultant out as well as doing a survey.
So in about a month. And we do have a commitment for the handicap kayak launch from the county that's gonna take care of that. That's a $35,000 cost that we already secured. John, wanna come up?
John, you're gonna be coordinating and working with the wetland part of the survey? You're gonna take care of all that?
Yes.
Okay.
This part of the work is really necessary because at this point, we're kind of just guessing what we can do. You know, the critical thing here is being able to get a permit from Eagle to be able to put the dock in, where the parking lot can go. You know, this is all just sketched on here in this concept plan at this point. So the topographic survey is going to pick up which areas are higher and lower, where the edge of the water actually is, at what depth we need to go out to be able to do the kayak launch. We know that drain was cleaned, you know, previously, so there is a portion there that's much deeper, I'm sure that we'll get to. But without this work, we really kind of just are guessing. We may, you know, Artie and I talked about, because it is a really long walkway to get to the kayak launch, you know, could we drive out there further? You know, carrying a canoe right on your car or whatever, could you drive out a little further? Well, we don't know any of that, you know, until we get this base survey work completed. So the wetland is huge, you know, they're gonna do a threatened and endangered species review as well, which is all part of this permitting process. So it's pretty important as a basis to even get this started.
Yeah, that area is pretty pristine back there. I took my 17.5-foot John boat under the bridge and through that whole area down there, and it's pretty nice, so look forward
Recently?
to that.
Was it recently?
Yeah,
They're catching fish
last
out
week.
there.
Yeah,
So it's not all fragmity choked right now?
No, it's all cleaned out.
yep.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we did that about, what, 5, 6 years ago?
I remember that.
5 years ago?
Yep.
Had a company from Wisconsin do it.
Yep. I remember that.
Seems like yesterday.
Oh, boy. So That's right. We put it off because of high water and the COVID, because we had a lot of unknowns. I didn't feel comfortable. I kid everybody, we spent, dealing with high water, the money to build this park, you know, but it was true. And, now we're kind of more comfortable on going ahead with this project.
So we've totally acquired the property.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
so
ours.
we have an asset, let's make use of it
Right,
somehow, like
Yep.
original plan anyways.
yep.
We can't go anywhere unless we get the wetland study, so I'll
Yeah.
make a motion to get the wetland study, and the engineering cost quote. The wetland study of $13,000 and the engineering quote for $7,750 to start the development of this Harsens Island Nature Park. Just to get it started.
Yep.
Start with that.
Do we have a second?
Support.
Okay, we have support. And we do have a donation to help fund the nature trail already. Yep, the perimeter, from Barbara McKelvey Trust Fund. And that's going to be actually, it's a soft trail. It's going to be put down, like basically wood chips and everything. And we have wood chips we make every week. So instead of we're gonna haul them across the ferry and dump them there to start that too. But, you know, we gotta know where it goes.
We gotta start with the wetland.
Yep, exactly,
Clean out the wetland.
exactly. And then get access to a culvert and a drive, so. All right, so we have motion and support for wetland environmental studies and engineering for the Harsens Island Nature Park. Any more discussion? Roll call.
Kristi Hilton.
Yes.
Mark Burchard.
Yes.
Artie Bryson.
Yes.
Chris O'Regan.
Yes.
Cindy Valentine, yes. Joanne Shirkey.
Yes,
Okay, motion passes. All right, next we have another quote from PCE for engineering. And it's for doing the engineering for replacing our water main. It runs along M29, it's old. And the project also includes a second feed to supply Harsens Island with water. This project, every year we have to get a permit from the DEQ or Eagle for the water. And the number one on their to-do list when this would come through was issue at the Colony Road the water main. Well, that's been replaced. And the second and third thing, I'm not sure in what order, but it was for a second feed to Harsens Island and to replace this water main. Because it's very old and we have a lot of water or breaks. So that being said, we were kind of looking at doing this in about a year or two. We're gonna be retiring a bunch of debt for our water department here in a year. I thought, well, we could, you know, instead, we can roll that new, you know, payment of this into this project with new debt, so to speak. Instead of putting a second thing on our water bill, we'd be able to roll it in. So it wouldn't be such a shock to our customers and citizens. But with all the things going on in Washington and the federal government, there's talk about a $2 to $3 trillion bill to fund these types of things. And I've learned in my short time in office that if you have, especially when it comes with the federal government, if you have shovel-ready projects ready to go, it's a lot easier to get these projects paid for through the federal government and state programs too. So I thought about, you know, boy, let's get this thing shovel ready, and we'll put it on the shelf for a year or two if we have to before we pull the trigger, in hopes that we get some free money to help pay for this. Now, part of this project is actually, I wrapped it up in one project, but if you look at the scope, a section of it was to enclose the ditches along M29 on the south side, and a section of sidewalk. And that's about it's about 10% of the project. And that's basically a DDA project. So I think the DDA should pay for 10% of the engineering costs, which would be $17,520. Does everyone follow me there? And this money, we'd have to put it in, which I'm confident we can fit it in our next year budget in the water department. So this would come out of our next year budget in the water department. Does anybody have any questions, or?
Our president now is really looking into infrastructure like crazy.
Yep, like I say, I've heard numbers between $2 trillion and $3 trillion. Now, our last, the ARP they call it, that was $2 trillion. And, it's huge. So if we can, like I say, I think it's an advantage to us to get it shovel ready, and then we can seek funding to hopefully get a chunk of it paid. And you know what, if we don't, and then the time comes, we can still, we're gonna have to do this one way or another.
John, Monty, I have a question for you, sir. If we, you don't have to get up, but if we take this project and we go through the survey and some of the initial engineering and get this officially shovel-ready, right? It has a shelf life, right? It has to have a shelf life. It can't sit there in that format for more than an extended period of time without having to be re-engineered and resurveyed. Do you have any indication of how long that shelf life could be for us?
Typically with an Eagle permit, it's usually good for 5 years, or a water permit that you receive is good for a 5-year period. The short-term stuff is more of a MDOT permit or road commission or soil erosion permit. Those things are a little more time sensitive, but the information all remains the same. If we apply for those permits and they give you the permit the first time, they're gonna give it to you again. So there may be a situation, if you wait a period of time, that we'd have to reapply for something. I kinda don't see that with the Eagle permits. We're gonna need Eagle to cross the river for
Yep.
Harsens Island. Plus there's a water main permit that's through Eagle as well. So there is some that is time sensitive. But this is an exact situation you're dealing with the interceptor sewer. You have an opportunity to receive grant funds because that's shovel ready. So I get the thing. It seems like when the government comes up with something, it's all of a sudden, you got it now, you can get the money. And eventually, you're gonna do this project. John, how old is that main? 60?
1946.
1946. So it definitely needs replacement, sooner or later.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
I got a question on the line, proposed line going to Harsens Island. We currently have a water line going over there now. Was there any talk about how big, I don't know how big that line is, but what about extending that line to areas that need it? Or what's the additional line for?
John, you guys wanna,
Have them come up because
Yeah.
you wanna address that, or?
people will know.
You can't hear him or see him if he's not up here.
So the second line to the island is for One is redundancy, if there was a failure in the current line that's there right now, and also for additional capacity. It's just part of the feed. Pressure, right. So the second line is proposed to be off of Island Drive, right, like an extension from Island Drive straight out to the river and crossing over to, is it Sunset Marina, in that location and making a connection there on the island.
Well, I know we have some lines over there now that go halfway down the street, especially, Sinclair Boulevard and some of those other ones, and they don't go all the way to the end, to the other road, that thoroughfare down there.
That'd be up
That
to
is
the
true.
property owners for a special assessment.
Well, I just wondered why they didn't put it in to begin with. But anyways,
I don't think there was demand. Joanne could tell you better, but there wasn't demand
And not at the time.
at the time when it was being put in. And we did look at, about 2 years ago, extending the water down the flats further. And the next street would be Bedore, and we did the engineering to do that, to extend the water line down to the next street. And the property owners on Bedore declined it. They didn't want to pay for the special assessment to add the water any further.
okay.
And Mark, just as clarification, the water line goes all the way out to Green Drive, on Bar Harbor, and on St. Clair Street. That doesn't stop in the middle. It
Right.
goes all the way out.
Well, I referenced St. Clair, but I was wrong. There's other streets, there's other side roads that it doesn't go all the way through.
Two that go from the south channel through.
Hey, Mark, the other important point is if something happens to that river crossing that's there currently, the entire island's out of water. So, we've got 900 customers over there, so that's a big deal.
Okay?
And this would make the DEQ very happy, wouldn't it, John?
I just met with them Friday, and that was their first question.
Any other questions?
Well, it sounds like a good idea. How are we paying for it?
It's gonna come out of the water department budget. We're gonna put it in, be next year's budget, next year's coming budget. Minus the 17,000, DDA portion, which that can come out of this year's, budget with the DDA.
I got you.
Well, here's the thing, the project either has to be done this year or next year, and no matter which year we do it, that's where the money comes from.
Right.
So we can't do the DDA's money this year, but the township's next year. Auditors are gonna be all over us.
Right.
So when the work's done is when it gets paid for.
Hey, John, when would you, start this? Or, like I say, we could do what they're saying is the 100 or majority of this, we really can't do it because of our auditors and our budget year till after July 1st. But the DDA portion, we can pay for it this current budget year.
I would say that it'd be preferable to start after your, in July 1st.
Okay,
And the only reason I'm saying that is because the core that we're gonna use to design for the DDA is the topographic survey.
right,
So realistically, I'm kind of thinking that we would just do the whole survey initially
at once.
and then start adding the design for all the components. I mean, we could start with just a survey in that area if you wanted to, the portion that the DDA was going to work on. That's possible too.
Or we can amend our current budget to include this out of the fund balance.
I'm not trying to be difficult, I'm just,
No,
don't wanna be
I-
burned at the end of the year from the auditors,
I
every
hear
year
you.
it's, whoops, you
Well,
shouldn't have done that, you should have done
We
this.
have that option too. We can amend the current budget to include this out of fund balance, which we have plenty of.
What do you mean we have plenty of?
Fund balance in our
So
water.
we got 400,000 for a fire truck.
This is
coming
water.
out. Then we have all this other
Water
stuff.
This
that
is the
we're putting
water
money out.
fund. This is the water fund, totally separate. And we got $3-4 million in it.
And now we're gonna make an engineering study that we don't even know what's gonna reach volition or not. You know, we don't know if we're gonna get money from the government to do this.
Project has to be done.
But the project has to be done and engineering has to be done for it.
I know, but it could be money out the window. Just saying.
I don't understand. I mean, we gotta do it one way or another.
We've been planning to do this, to budget for this project in the next how many years?
Oh, we've been talking about this 3-4 years.
So we're hoping for federal dollars, but if it doesn't come, we're gonna bond this project.
It still has to be.
It has to be done.
Rather not bond for it, but that was the original plan. So be ready, Steve. John, would it behoove us in your schedule, I mean, to do it before July 1?
Yeah, look, can you start tomorrow and bill us July 1st?
Well, no, it doesn't work that way.
That's the whole point,
It
Chris. We
doesn't
can't
work
do
that way.
Oh, you can't do that. I'm sorry,
No.
scratch that, John.
But like I say, I mean, if you wanted to, we could approve this and also amend the budget to take this money out of fund balance and add it to our water, and our engineering line in water. I guess I'm asking John if it,
I guess, Artie, it's good enough if we started July 1st.
okay, that's fine.
That would work.
July 1st works, okay. All right,
No pressure, but thank you, John. Both of you.
what's the board's pleasure?
I think we should get the show on the road.
Somebody want to make a motion to approve next year's budget?
Yes.
Is that a motion?
Would you like me to do that, or is that what you just did?
No, you go right ahead. I'm looking for the
All right,
amount.
let me try and summarize this. Board, I'd like to make a motion that we authorize and approve the PCE proposal in the amount of $175,200 to begin on our projected budgets for the water main replacement project, starting on July 1st of 2021, and being funded through the Water Department budgeting process.
You want a second?
I'm checking, let's check for holes first. Do they have any holes in that one?
I don't think so.
No, you're good.
I'll take a second. You got me? Thank you.
Okay, I don't see any leaks. All right, we have motion and support. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Christy Hilton,
Yes.
Mark Bouchard,
No.
Artie Bryson,
Yes.
Chris O'Regan,
Yes.
Cindy Valentine, yes, Joanne Shirkey.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. All right, next we have, and boy, this has been troublesome. We have the request, Algonac Water Filtration Building Improvements, bid recommendation from Algonac, their engineering company, HRC. Basically said the roof needs to be replaced and block work done on one of their buildings to total amount of $113,262. And I'd like to thank both Chris O'Regan and John DeBoyer. I told them, hey, we need to investigate this, and they went and inspected it today. And back up, under our contract that we have with the city of Algonac, any capital expenditures for the water plant, Clay Township has to pay 62.5%. Is it 0.5? That's what I thought. 62.5, basically 2/3 of it we pay. And that's how it's written in the contract. And they also, in the contract, if it's a cost of $20,000 or more, they have to submit to us, and we have to tell them yay or nay within 30 days. If we approve it or not. If we don't tell them anything, it's as if we did approve it. So, part of the contract is they requested us to, they say they wanna do this, repair for $113,000. And, so like I said before, I asked Chris O'Regan, who this is in his wheelhouse, he does estimating for construction, and John to go take a look at it. And, well, what was your,
Did the city of Algonac put this out for bid?
yes, they put it out for bid, and they only received one bid. Well, they received two bids. One bid on the roof itself, and then one that also had, repair the block, the damage where the block is. And then one bid was just for, to repair the block, and wasn't on the roof. This is a rubber flat roof. And I know the fire or the police department's roof has gotta be 2-3 times the size. What did we pay for that, Mike? It was like 80 grand?
No,
It was less, 60, wasn't it?
I don't even think it was that.
Yeah. I mean, it was a lot less. So that was troublesome. I'm like, okay, what am I missing here? So, and it was under, the roof was under warranty, but the actual roof itself didn't fail. It was the block, I guess some water got in there. There was some damage with the block. So,
So what caused the problem? Do you know?
I'm gonna defer to my expert.
All right, and John, you feel free to kick in here wherever you see an opportunity. So, John DeBoer and I went out and inspected the water filtration plant today. And you know that there is an older section and then a newer section. The newer section has a lower tiered roof system that's maybe it's 6-8 feet lower than the original section. The original section was put on with a gravel stop membrane. And besides the gravel being a little dislocated, the roof looks good, highly functional. No leaks, no problems over there. The other side, the newer section, if you will, the problem arose because the last two course of 4-inch block at the top of the parapet wall are actually coming out, and they're pointing towards the river. So what we did is we inspected the inside for structural damage. We saw a couple of weak points, a couple of blocks that were actually cracked. Then we looked at the outside. And on the outside, there's something obviously going wrong because the last 8 inches of the wall at the top where the flashing rolls over, the block is actually turned towards the river. And it probably delaminates somewhere between 2 and 3 inches. It's significant. It's leaning. So then John and I started investigating the roof itself, and we went up there to find, it's like a white TPO membrane is what it is. And what they do is they put that over what they call an ISO board. It's a styrofoam board. And then they perimeter adhere this. So they do this what they call term bars, termination flashing. And in essence, what they're doing is they build up the outside of the block, and then they put this TPO product over the top of it, and they make like a giant swimming pool, if you will. So we've got a raised area all the way around the roof, and then the roof is supposed to pitch to what we found are 2 drains up there. Now the drains do not appear to be highly functional at this point. They require some maintenance over time. You have to clear the leaves, you have to clear the sludge that builds up around them. And we saw from initial inspection that the drains appear to be higher than the roof membrane, which structurally looks like it could be an engineering problem back from when they started. So somehow we've got water infiltrating under this board and also pushing on the top of the block. So with the block disturbed the way it is, we feel like there's probably some type of water that's infiltrated between the spancrete and the block itself, and freeze thaw, and has cracked these top couple of cores loose. So now the question becomes, do you do a repair on this 20-plus-year-old roof, which looks good, but is nearing its life expectancy? Or do you replace the whole thing and do it correctly and hope that you get another 20, 25 years out of the deal? So that's what we're investigating right now, is which option is going to work best, because there's a significant and a problem that exists that does require attention sooner than later.
So is this bid, excuse me, for $113,000 just a repair?
Now, that's a replacement bid.
Okay.
Now, the replacement bid, it lacks a lot of detail. So we've seen from John Monty, for example, the things that were proposed today, we've got sheets of information, detailed, isolated, estimated cost breakdowns. We don't have anything like that we can go off of, or at least that we've seen. We do have a couple of engineering reports that we looked at, we reviewed together, but we don't have an itemized cost breakdown of this proposal. So I'm under the belief, from my professional opinion, that this cost is more than what it should be. I think what's happened is the engineer found somebody who was willing to do this repair and said, great, you guys are hired, give me your bid, and we're gonna throw it into the bid package. So I think this cost could be significantly less, and if we pay our share of this, it could be literally tens of thousands of dollars less than what this proposal is.
And just so everybody knows, Chris does estimating for construction, very familiar with this type of thing for insurance companies, right?
Yep, for 26 years. That's my gig, that's my business, and that's what I do.
So did we even see the bid request that Algonac sent out? Like what they were requesting somebody bid?
We didn't see that today, no.
When did we find out about this problem?
Last week?
And when did Algonac find out about
Oh,
this problem?
I'm not sure. They mentioned to it that there was an issue and they were going to look at it with their engineer, what, John, about 2 or 3 months ago?
Yeah, I think a couple meetings ago.
That they were gonna do some investigating. Okay, fine, let us know. And this is how they let us know. I personally, I think, okay, we only have one bid on this roof. And I think we,
Not a lot of information for as much money as they want.
right, I think.
No, there's not.
I think we should ask them to get some more bids. And Chris actually gave me some references of like 3 or 4 different roofing companies
Just local commercial roofing.
that could
contractors.
handle this job.
Nobody that I'm affiliated with.
Right, that could.
But people that I know that are in the.
That could handle this job.
Yep.
And you know what, if the bids come up the same, so be it.
Well, then we'll know.
We'll know, but if they don't, we'll know then too. I'm not comfortable approving that.
Yeah, I would say when we do that, if we are going to do that, is make sure that the bidders have a scope of work, including that drain that you're talking about to lower that, okay?
2 of them, yep.
Yeah, so two of those drains. I mean, a lot of these bids goes out and there's no scope of work. Just do this and you
Right.
can just go ahead and bid on it, then we're not getting what we're paying for.
Well, they would have to share the RFQ
Yep.
with these companies.
So it's a great point, Mark. We just have to navigate those waters
Yeah.
somehow with Algonac, because it's not our RFQ. It's not ours.
Right.
Our RFQ.
Well, we get 62% of it,
Right,
Yes.
that's
so
an
we do
issue.
have a voice.
Yeah, I agree, and I just don't want our township to overpay for anything.
No.
That's not how we roll. We are frugal where we need to be.
They think we got money to just give them to do stuff.
And I don't like being overcharged for anything. I'm gonna pay the fair market value, pay the going rates, but I don't wanna get gouged here. And this seems a little high, like it set the radar off.
Well, usually I let other people make the motion, but I'm gonna make a motion that, directing myself to notify Algonac to, reject, this quote and ask them to secure at least, 2 more quotes for the roof repair. And, at that point, then we will re-entertain the job.
If I could add on to that, I would like you to consider asking them to also rebid the block work,
Yes, well, the whole job,
the whole job.
the whole job.
Okay, because you said the roofing
Well,
job.
and I
but
would
you mean-
include the drains, because that seems to be an
Yep.
issue.
The drains, I think are an issue. They,
And
Not an issue.
and John DeBoyer and myself, in our monthly or bi-monthly meetings, we need them to do inspections on these type of things. Because I think if this was properly inspected 10 years ago or X amount of years ago, it wouldn't have happened.
Should have been part of an annual maintenance.
Right. So, I don't wanna point fingers or start a war or anything else with Algonac or anything, but it's the township's interest to make sure that, you know, things in that water plant's being inspected properly.
Well, I understand they've struggled with personnel a little bit over there the last couple of years, but at the same point, they can reach out and ask for assistance, especially when we pay 62.5% of it, you know? We don't have a problem helping out or working with them to get things accomplished, but we need to know about it, not just when they want to throw us a
Not
bid
all,
without.
like at our meetings, I know John DeBoyer, he's pretty knowledgeable on these things. He'll tell, well, you know, maybe you could get a quote for this pump from this company or that. There's a lot of that goes on, but, which is good, but,
Yeah, this is huge.
yeah. So,
I'll support that.
so that's my motion.
You have motion and support.
Motion and support. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Mark Bouchard.
Yes.
Artie Bryson.
Yes.
Chris O'Regan.
Yes.
Cindy Valentine, yes. Joanne Shirkey.
Yes.
Christie Hilton.
Okay, motion passes. Next, the Pieperzak agreement, I'm gonna postpone this. I've been talking, with, our attorneys and their attorneys through ours. In concept, they agreed to the settlement that was proposed, but I had a problem with just cutting them a check for it. Because, you know, they owe us paperwork that the warranty bond is going to be, taken care of. There's about 4 or 5 documents they have to present to us. Surety bonds, that type of thing. And I got the feeling if we cut them a check, we won't see them again, or hear from them again on
well,
this.
maybe we could just swap them one day.
Well, so, our attorney sent them a agreement to consider, and there's been some back and forth. And, we're basically waiting for Pieperzak, according, I see the trail of emails, their attorney, you know, emailed us. They're just waiting to approve the final, agreement. And, I said, once we get a final agreement, we may have to pull a special meeting together to approve it or whatever, it depends on the timing. So that's where it's at right now. I just wanted to make sure that the township's protected, by the warranties of the work, surety bonds, and, all the rest of the paperwork that is completed correctly. So, I make the motion that we postpone the approval of the Pieperzak agreement. Yeah, support? Any more discussion on that? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have board member comments. Cindy?
Well, I was very excited to start our MTA virtual conference today, until I sat through probably half of the day revisiting the last year, which I lived through. I was good with that, so I'm hoping tomorrow will be a little bit more educational. I know what I lived through the last year, so I didn't really need to hear it again today, but all about elections.
Okay, Chris?
Yeah, thank you to Kathy Svoboda for coming in. I love the Little Pantry idea. I think it's gonna be a giant hit in its own little quaint way. And as always, I just want to thank the first responders, all the brave men and women from the police department and the fire department, for their courage and what they do for our township each and every day.
Thank you. Mark?
Yeah, we have a lot of apparently scams coming through on the phone and some on the internet, so be cautious out there. Please do not give any information out to anybody on the phone, even though if you think it's appropriate or not. Contact anybody here on the board if you want to and find out about it. And I'm very familiar with the scams myself, and I'm sure the chief police is as well as informed about them as well. Marsh Cleanup, May 8th, fishing, a lot of fishing tournaments going on in the township here, coming up really quick. I want to thank Cindy for her perseverance with DTE. That's a good shot. And I got an email that the planning commission was canceled for this coming Wednesday, and I have no reason why, nobody told me why. So anytime something is canceled, I'd like to know the reason why, instead of trying to make phone calls and get, nail people down at why it was canceled. I still don't know. If anybody knows why it's been canceled, please let me know.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, is that it? Thank you. Chrissy?
I just want to say I'm thankful to whoever the powers that be are that removed the no left-hand turn sign on Flamingo. I appreciate that, and I drive by there every day and look over the edge, and there's good progress coming along, so I'm hoping it ends a lot sooner than July.
Very good. Joanne?
Well, in that note, I drove over it just to drive over it and see what the heck's going on.
Sure you did.
And, yeah, they weren't working, it was kind of rainy or whatever it was doing. But, one thing that I'm real pleased to hear is the excitement that Kathy has generated about the Little Pantry, the little tips. And, that's a good thing. And, to Cindy too, for just being diligent and going after that DTE to get that taken care of. So that's about it. I have a CBA meeting this Wednesday.
All right, great. On that flamingo sign, that was an MDOT requirement, because there's a lot of MDOT money paying for it. And after a couple, 3 days of watching it with inspectors, the traffic level and everything, so we don't need that sign, so they bagged it and removed it.
It's very rarely backed up there. It's,
Yeah,
people
that
are
was-
usually,
They had no idea of the traffic levels and the hours and everything, so that was a good thing. And you're right, Mark, the scams, and the big thing with scams, if they want you to pay with like a eBay or an Amazon card or anything like that, that's, just hang up the phone.
Or if it's coming on a computer and it has a link.
Yeah, or links on the computer, email, I get a couple of
I got
days.
a text message with a link.
Yeah, I get them all the time too. And I am so sick of all the phone calls about renewing my warranty on my cars. And I mean, the list goes on too, the robocalls, so.
Yeah, I received a phone call stating that if I didn't reply to them, they were gonna come and arrest me. Mike, did you get a message?
I've gotten the same.
Okay, thanks.
The IRS will not call you, and
No.
there's a scam where they call, they say, I'm from the IRS, they threaten you with jail, and we're gonna do this and this it doesn't happen. Just hang up the phone, or better yet, get their number and call up our dispatch. yeah, you hear them all, so, pay student loans and everything else, so. All right, good meeting, guys. Thank you much.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Yes. All in favor, ayes.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you, Kathy and Steve and